All right, welcome to another episode of Sensible Politics with your hosts, Greg and
I'm Chris.
Chris. Welcome back. It's been a little while since we've done an episode.
Yeah, been real busy.
Yeah. Haven't we all? Haven't we all? All right, so elections coming up.
Yeah, we got some big news today. Kamala Harris was picked by Joe Biden.
Joseph Biden chose Kamala Harris. Not a big shock. Not surprising at all. I thought the day that she kind of stood up to him and went off on him with that ridiculous rant about busing.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. I was like, yep, she's just like solidified herself. And she dropped out very early, probably trying to ingratiate herself with whoever came out of the primary.
Yeah, well, once he said that he was going to choose a woman of color, it was pretty much like...
Yeah, I think it was always going to be her.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to tease that Susan Rice, and they want to tease the lady from Atlanta or Georgia. What's her name?
Yeah.
Stacey.
Yep.
Stacey Abrams. I thought what he did to her was very cruel. You know, I think she thought she actually had a chance, and he really played her. It's like, nope, I'm using you to get the vote out for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's I'm super happy. I'm glad.
As a Trump supporter, right?
Yeah, as a Trump supporter, I am applauding. When I was driving, I went to go to my kid's school, and I was listening to the radio, and I heard on the radio that he picked Kamala Harris, and I literally started clapping, and my daughter was like, "What?
What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, and I said, "You don't know who she is, do you?" Yeah. And then I told her all about her all the prosecutions that she did, all the wrongful convictions that she was a part of, that she refused to let people out of jail. I'm like, she ain't going to have a chance now.
I think they always knew she was going to be a liability, and they were probably trying to weigh her good versus her bad. Yeah. And it's like, all right, can we survive with the bad in her?
They went woke is what they did.
Woke?
Yeah.
Did you use that word, woke?
Yeah. They're using woke politics. They're hoping that regardless of what her past is, that she is black and she's a woman, that's just going to negate her whole past, and people are going to come out and vote for her because of that.
And you know what? I think that shows the lack of knowledge and the lack of respect that the Democratic Party has for the black vote. Because they think just because we got a person of color, like they said that, like, I'm going to pick a person of color because that'll make black people want to come out and vote. Black people are not voting for just any person
they have to be
of color.
Yeah, they have to actually have some credentials and some good things.
She does not have credentials.
Yeah.
Because everything about her says, I'm Joe Biden, revamped. I'm a new version of Joe Biden. Crime bill, 94 crime bill. He wrote that. She's a prosecutor. I don't see how they think that she's going to bring out the black vote.
When what was that? The state that Joe Biden won, was that South Carolina that basically put him over the top? That was like the kingmaker for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So during that, I remember during that primary, they had like a focus group of black voters because that state was all about, can you get out the black vote?
Right.
And in this focus group, they were basically just putting up pictures of different candidates, and they were asking the people there what was their first thought of them. And when they put up Kamala Harris's picture, the first thing they said is the police. That's exactly what and they all said it too. They're like, that's the police right there.
Yeah. And I think
and what's the police's reputation right now? How's that going over?
Not very well. What's the other lady? The white lady. Klobuchar. She was in Minnesota, and she didn't prosecute the cop who killed George Floyd.
Yeah, Chauvin.
Yeah, Chauvin. So that knocked her out immediately. You know, but at the same time, she was a prosecutor. Kamala Harris is a prosecutor. So it still goes with that same tough on crime, that those same 90s politics. They haven't changed much. They haven't evolved. Even with the emergence of Barack Obama, I think all they want to do is try to get that Obama vote out because that's the only chance they've got to win, is to energize the party and make people come out like they did for Obama, like they didn't come out for Hillary.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have Michelle Obama speaking at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
If they're smart, which
They're not.
It seems like, well, so far they're not really letting Biden out very much.
I wonder if he's sick or something. I haven't seen I haven't seen him in a long time.
Well, because every time he talks,
He ruins himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because he
That's
is
part of
getting
being
senile.
an old white man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still that same old guy who was never, that sharp to begin with. He's never said anything that you remember other than some tough talk or a couple cuss words.
Yeah, and I lost my train of thought where I was going with that one.
Talking to Mike, we can edit it.
Oh, okay. But they're gonna put Michelle Obama in there, and if they're smart, they're gonna keep playing the Obamas on this because
What
basically,
other chance do they have?
yeah, they need Barack out there campaigning for him like crazy, as if Barack's running again, and they need Michelle out there. That's the only opportunity they're gonna have.
Why do they think Obama still has that kind of, like, after the fact, that Monday morning quarterback, when you look in retrospect, black people can look at Obama and not really feel as favorably as they did when he was in office. And I don't think they're aware of that black people have kind of taken inventory. Okay, how does our life change and how does our society change as a result of Obama? It looks like it got worse because now you've got riots and now you've got uproar and, so it looks like having that black president really didn't change America much. It kind of made it worse because then you get Trump, and we know what his base is for a large majority. They hate Obama. So it's like we need something different. So it's the Trump is the effect of Obama. It had there not been such hatred for Obama, I don't think there's a room for Trump to become president.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, because it was basically like all these policies that we couldn't stand. It's like, okay, we need this guy in here to erase that.
Right.
Which is also pretty terrible with that Trump's kind of going along the same route, which I thought he would have learned. Obama's presidency at the end there, because the Republicans just wiped them in the in the midterms every time. So the Republicans owned the Senate and the House, and they really couldn't get much passed.
Right.
So Obama kept going through executive orders, which he could get things done. Because remember when he said, I got a pen and a pen?
Mm-hmm.
So when he was writing all these executive orders, he was getting things done, but they weren't lasting because all you need is a new president now to come in.
And they can overthrow it.
Get rid of those executive orders. And that's what Trump did literally his first month in office, was just rescind all those
everything Obama did. We got to undo it.
To where if Obama had actually gone through the Senate and the House, those would be actual laws that you would have to re-vote again on.
Yeah, but he never would have got the votes through.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can make concessions and you can negotiate, but now politics is so divisive. Nobody wants to negotiate with anything now.
Yeah, nothing gets done at this point. It's all, we're on our side, you're on your side, and we're not coming together for much of anything, unless it's some nothingness, like so-called prison reform. It's like, we all want that, but what does it even mean? It has no real meaning to it. It doesn't mean anything.
Or when there's a big disaster. Like they came together pretty quick when they did that coronavirus bailout stuff.
Yeah, let's pull $3 or $4 trillion out of nowhere.
Yeah, and let's fill it with giving a bunch of it to corporations, and we can all get behind that because the corporations are backing all the different parties, so it doesn't matter.
Now, this is interesting to me that you bring that up. Okay, you don't feel like the Republican Party is very pro-corporation as well as the Democratic Party, very pro-corporation, and really not for the small business or the individual?
I think the Republican Party is starting it. There's still a lot of these old guys that,
but they're supposed to be that,
yeah.
Like looking out for the self-employed person, the business owner, the small business. That's what they kind of make their name on, but they've never been anything close to that.
Yeah, well, they've been going. It's all going corporations,
right? They steal everything. So
it's all about the donors.
So I ask you that. How can you support that party? Being a business owner yourself, they don't really do you any good. Well,
because they're starting to move in that direction. And we kind of talked about this a little bit on a long text thread that we had a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Donald Trump is an incarnation of the Tea Party. Now he never actually came out and said that I am part of the Tea Party. He never did any of that stuff. But a lot of his same policies and views, hit tough on China, all these different things is what the Tea Party was jamming on and on and on about. And then we go in the midterms and just have a landslide victory after Obama in Obama's first midterms. And then when they run against Mitt Romney, who essentially that was Obamacare. Mitt Romney created Romney Care in Massachusetts, and then they basically use that exact same template to create Obamacare. And now you have a guy who basically, he can't attack him on Obamacare because it's his plan.
Right.
And so Mitt Romney was that big corporation guy. He was not the Tea Party type guy, and most of the people didn't come out and support him. And then when you run an actual candidate who's tough on China, who's about bringing jobs back here to the United States, he wins in a landslide victory in the Electoral College.
So he's the anti-establishment for the Republican Party, but most Republicans are going to be pro-Republican no matter who they run, right?
Well, there's a lot of never-Trumpers, and a lot of those never-Trumpers were these big-time establishment. I mean, look what he did. He had to just run through Jeb Bush. There's all kinds of big-time establishment guys in that primary.
Jeb Bush was establishment, even though, I mean, it's only by birthright, but not really because of anything he's done.
No, but he's essentially like an
Except
oligarchy.
he did steal that first election for his brother.
I'm not sure if he was the governor at that time.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But
he was.
But yeah, I think Donald Trump is a reincarnation of the Tea Party, and so it's starting to move in that direction, and they're slowly weeding out these people who are not on the side. A lot of these leaks and a lot of these things that are going on within the Trump presidency are happening from Republicans who are against him, and then they go on camera and act like they support the guy.
So what do you see from Trump as far as doing for the common man?
The big thing is China. That is
who
by
cares?
far. Who cares?
Why does anybody? I mean, why does the regular person care about if you've got a job? Why are you concerned with how much China pays in tariffs which costs you more to buy their goods?
It's not just about the tariffs. It's about eventually bringing that entire supply chain back here to the United States.
Okay, so that takes corporations to reinvest in America.
Yes.
Right? We haven't seen much of that.
And I agree. And that's what the whole point of these tariffs are. The tariffs are he wants to make it expensive for these companies to actually do business with China. I really believe that, you know how back when we look at the old Nazi collaborators, these old guys who helped fund the Nazis back in Germany?
Bush?
Yeah. Prescott Bush or whatever his name was, and all these old guys back in the day that actually helped fund that. I believe that these companies that are doing business in China eventually are going to be looked at as the same way as we looked at those Nazi collaborators. They're literally, you have Nike out here put with Colin Kaepernick and all the social justice warrior stuff, why they literally have slaves making their shoes in China.
America had slaves for 300 years. America had slaves for 300 years.
Does not have anymore.
I mean,
and we have companies.
I can't call it a kettle black.
We have companies that are going woke as hell and telling everybody else in America how terrible we are, and you need to get on the bandwagon, while they're making billions of dollars off of slave labor in China. They have nets around buildings because people were jumping off the buildings so much to kill themselves. They would rather die than continue to keep working at their job.
Do Americans actually care about that?
I think they do, because the benefit of that is getting that stuff out of China.
What kind of phone you got?
Bring Apple. Yeah. What kind of phone does anybody have? None of it's made
Apple
here.
or Samsung. But
Yeah.
So
I mean, I have to have a phone.
Are we going to stop buying iPhones?
If I think that once you bring that stuff, one, it's a morality issue because they are using slave labor.
Do we have the infrastructure to? Okay, so an iPhone costs about what, $1,000 to $1,500 right now on slave labor. How much is an iPhone when you got to pay people to make it?
Yeah, and why in the hell does it cost that much on slave labor?
Exactly. So
when you have a $1 trillion Apple corporation,
right? So when Apple comes back, we're hypothetically speaking, Apple comes back and starts building their phones and their devices in the United States, which I don't even know if we have the infrastructure or the skilled labor to do it. They come back, or they have to reinvest in training people to be able to do that kind of work. Cost goes way up. We can't even afford the iPhones anymore.
There's going to be a lot of people that get a lot of jobs out of that. If they bring all that stuff over here to the U.S., yes, things are going to increase in price.
But what do the jobs pay? If the jobs pay too much, we can't afford the product. Which we already can't afford the product.
Yeah.
Most people can't afford a $1,000 to $1,500 phone already. Or we'll just, we'll bite the bullet and get one because we got to have the phone.
I'm not an economist, but I mean, haven't you ever heard of like what they call our area? We're here in Indiana. You got Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. They call it the Rust Belt. Mm-hmm. All those jobs that left and went overseas.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, now people are doing nothing but service jobs now, or sales jobs, and going online. If you could bring manufacturing back here, also bringing manufacturing back here is not only benefit to jobs. One thing we found out because of the coronavirus is that we don't have
anything
here. We
have to
depend
outsource
on them.
everything.
Like we didn't have enough medication for a lot of different stuff. Mm-hmm. Like we are at the beck and call of these people. That is a national security issue.
But we can't make everything.
We did at one time.
We didn't have anything.
That's what made us, after World War II, that is what made us this powerful nation, is our manufacturing.
Manufacturing, but there was a effort to create the infrastructure for that. But we're not prepared to do anything else. We are at least 10, 15 years away before we can produce those products that they make in China that are cheap. And that's just a number, but the post-Civil War was a calculated effort over time to build roads and to build, trains and transportation and the industrial age. And then you got the planes and be able to fly people back and forth. So there was a united effort American-wise, but we don't have that kind of investment anymore because the corporations hold all the capital. Yeah. And we don't tax them, and it's just a bunch of people hoarding all the money. So with that said, if they're not willing to make the investment because they can profit more by being over there, what is their incentive to come back other than Trump saying, because I said so?
Well, the other thing is you just make it expensive for them. I mean, that's the thing. The only thing that
but it doesn't make it expensive for them. It makes it expensive for the consumer because they're going to pass the cost down on us. They're not going to eat it.
Yeah. I don't have a perfect answer for this, but I will say, like, the other thing is when it comes to China, is they steal the hell out of the company's intellectual property. Like, when you go over there to China, you have to basically give them all your trade secrets.
This is America. They do that too.
You can't get into...
If I work for whoever and I create something and I did it on their time, it's their invention.
Yeah, but we're talking about, like... if you have like a pizza chain, an amazing pizza chain, and we want to come over here and we have this secret sauce, and the reason why our pizza is so amazing is because of our sauce is so good, and we have this best kept secret. If you want to go over to China and sell that sauce, you have to give the secret recipe to the sauce to the Chinese government.
Okay, I get what you're saying. You're saying the government, not necessarily the company.
Because the companies and the government are one and the same over there. They're not separated. Just like, you remember that San Bernardino, when that couple... ended up doing like a shooting in San Bernardino, California, husband and wife. Mm-hmm. Well, they found his iPhone, and they wanted Apple to open it for them.
They wouldn't open it.
Apple wouldn't do it. You think that would fly in China? Because Apple has a separation between government and companies.
Do we want that?
Yeah, we want that. We don't want the government inside of our corporations dictating everything.
Okay. So we prefer it the way that Apple does things. The fact that they aren't willing to help.
It gives you privacy.
Okay. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just asking what you think.
I don't want the government to be able to find out everything I look at on my phone or talk to or anything.
Okay. Are we under the illusion that they don't already know everything?
Snowden says otherwise, yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. All right. So let's segue. Let's go back to the other side. Let's go back to Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Vice presidential candidate Harris. What do you think of her?
I mean...
I'm really going to go in on her.
Okay.
So Well,
My whole thing is with the wrongful convictions. That is, I don't understand how she could possibly get by with that being on her record. There was a lot of wrongful convictions that were proven to be wrongful convictions, and she fought it. And then there was also evidence that was found, and she did everything she could to fight that evidence being admitted into court. When you have innocent men in jail, and they're away from their kids, their families, and you're fighting tooth and nail to keep them in jail, like that's evil, man.
I think that comes as a result of her disconnect with black society and crime bill and the criminal justice system. Some people will major in criminal justice or go into criminal justice thinking they can make a change or make things better. But she was willing to just accept the system as it is and just work with it. I think if you have a conscience, you can't be that. Well,
why do you think she worked with it? She had political aspirations, obviously.
Right, and that's why I'm saying that's why the point I'm getting at is she's the last person that I would want to be a vice presidential candidate. I think the fact that she has darker skin complexion, I don't think that makes her relatable to people of dark skin complexions. She doesn't have that same connection. Like when you say not making the DNA admissible so that people could be free who were wrongly convicted. I think the fact that she has that disconnect and the fact that she's willing to work within that criminal justice system shows that's what kind of person she is. I think if you actually have a certain connection to people of color, then you see this every day, and you know, I'm against the death penalty because I know people are going to be falsely accused. It's just like lynching people.
Yeah.
You know, because I know of people like Kamala Harris are going to send you to the chair anyway. They're going to kill you anyway. My biggest issue is Kamala Harris. They keep on pushing her as this African American, this we got a black woman. Do we have a black woman? She is black in color. Yeah, she's a black woman. I don't know why they call her African American. She's actually Indian Jamaican American. I don't know where the African even comes from. I don't even get that. Her dad is Jamaican. He lives in Jamaica. He's not from here. He was like a professor or something like that. Her mom's a professor. They probably met at work. Same thing with Obama. His dad is actually African. He was like a college professor or something like that at Harvard or something like that, I think. He got deported or his green card expired or something like that, or his visa expired, whatever. So these are two people who really don't have any connection with the soil of the United States. They haven't had that. Like, I think if her parents or if her dad would have been a Jamaican immigrant or maybe a second generation immigrant and he lived here his whole life, I think he would have a perspective that he could give to her in which she wouldn't feel that way. Since he doesn't, he can't, and he doesn't live here. She was raised by her mother. She doesn't have that same perspective. I think her mother is a Indian. She's from India. Very wealthy family, wealthy upbringing and all that. So I think that's why Kamala Harris doesn't have that connection. I think people just look at her on the surface and say, oh, look at her. She's nice looking. And, she speaks up and she talks back and she seems pretty smart. I don't think these are the qualifications. Not that you want somebody who isn't smart, but.
Did you see her on the Breakfast Club?
Last year?
Yeah,
or a couple years? Yeah, last year. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
She was disgraceful.
She was trying so hard.
Yeah, I listened to Snoop Dogg and Tupac back in the 80s. Did you really? Did you really?
She was talking about fried chicken and everything. I mean.
Yeah, and smoking weed and all that stuff. Yeah, she was a disgrace, I thought. And her father was even ashamed. He was like, I don't appreciate her putting those stereotypes on Jamaican people.
And the other thing is, too, that did you hear about if the students are truant too many times that
their parents go to jail.
She was going to put the moms or dads in jail.
Some people agree with that. Some people think that the parent is ultimately responsible for the child and the parent should accept the consequences for the child. I don't agree with that in any way. But if you're in an education system and kids don't come to school, you want some kind of punishment to make those kids go to school. I think some people look at it as it's more of a threat to make your kids go to school, not that she really wanted to lock people up.
I looked at it as another avenue to get more people in prison. I mean, that's basically the way I looked at it.
And she's a prosecutor at that. You know, I look at her like in every way of she is Joe Biden 2.0.
Yep.
Everything about her just seems like very Joe Biden-ish to me.
And does she have anything to do with the three? This is something I'm very naive on. The 3 strike law. I mean,
well, California was very heavy on 3 strikes.
Yeah.
I don't think she did anything to circumvent it or get rid of it.
Okay.
Because we got to look at what her age group is. I think she's probably in her 50s. She's over 40.
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely doing stuff in the 90s. So
yeah, so if she was around in the 90s, she was probably agreeing with those Bill Clinton type policies. Yeah. She may be a Clinton Democrat.
Yeah.
I think when you're a little younger, like in your 30s or 40s, you may not be as accepting of those Bill Clinton, Joe Biden type policies. So maybe if he would have picked a younger woman, you know, but he picked the right person. He knew what he was doing. He knew what she was, and he knows who he is, and they align perfectly. I mean, it's a perfect marriage, I think. And he probably looks like her husband's dad or something like that, you know. He's like her father-in-law.
Oh man.
Just say. All right, what else do we got?
Okay, so I mean, do you want to stick with just on the election, or do you want to go to current events?
Let's go all election.
All right.
Let's go all election this week. Well, okay. Current event plus election. Coronavirus. Trump has not handled it well. The people on your side don't believe in wearing masks, or they don't believe that it's anything but the flu to begin with, and people die from the flu, so we don't do anything about that. Why should we do anything about coronavirus? So I don't think he's doing a very good job. When you look and compare, like if America is supposed to win and that's his main thing, looks like we're losing coronavirus.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
It looks like everybody else is doing way better than us.
Yeah.
I think I saw Japan had people in the stands at the baseball game.
Well, that could have been fake because I think it's New Zealand that has fans and stuff now. Japan puts fake people in their stands.
Oh, look, just like America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But New Zealand has like nothing. Like there's nobody. Like they won't even let you in the country, I think, right now.
Yeah, smart move.
Because they're like,
everybody stay out.
We don't have it right now, so
and we're gonna keep it that way.
Yeah. No, okay, so I'm conspiracy minded. And I think that if you look at polls when you're trying to, this is all about the election. This is what the coronavirus stuff is. Well, once this election's over with, I think either not much longer later is going to be a vaccine or a new treatment that they just come up with, and it's everything's a lot better, and now we can kind of get back to normal once this election's over with. When you look at polls, you can go back to every election, and if you have an incumbent president that's running for re-election, and the right track, wrong track poll. So if you ask a question, do you believe that we're on the right track, or do you believe we're on the wrong track? And if the overwhelming majority of the population says that we are on the wrong track, that incumbent president almost always loses. Regardless of what the issues are, the incumbent president almost always loses if a majority of the country thinks we're on the wrong track. Who in the hell thinks we're on the right track right now with all this stuff going on with coronaviruses, the riots, all the protesting that's going on? I believe the coronavirus is designed to destroy our culture. They're taking away football. They're taking away concerts. Anything that has to do with us getting together is gone. It is not about saving people. It is about destroying the culture of Americans and to just make you miserable. And then when it comes time to election, you're going to associate this misery with Trump, and let's just pull the lever for Biden. I think that's what their play is.
If the culture of America is football,
it's not just football, but it's a big deal.
If America's culture is football, shouldn't we destroy it and start over again and make it about something, I don't know. What?
You are un-American, Greg.
I don't care. Football serves no purpose to the greater good. It gives you temporary entertainment to distract yourself from real issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that does you any justice to ignore problems. Like when you say the social justice and I think the reason that the Black Lives Matter thing has become so big is because we've ignored it for so long. We've ignored criminal justice and the way black people are treated. We've ignored all the issues that America has because we just want to sit back and watch football. And now football says, well, we want you to come back and watch football again. So how about we put Black Lives Matter on the field, or basketball, or we put some different jerseys on, and then you can go back to being distracted again. I don't think that I think it would do America some good to put the sports down for about 2 years and fix all our problems and then come back and then start enjoying stuff. But I don't think we're on the right track when it comes to social justice, when it comes to poverty, when it comes to health care. We are on the wrong track a lot of ways. And all people want to do is watch some damn football.
Well, I don't think football is our culture is like the only thing, but football is a big deal. One, it's huge for the economy.
I'm going to cut you off real quick and then go back. In the last 50 years, name someone who has had a statue built for them.
That played football?
No, period. Anybody. Who have we erected a statue for their greatness and given them like proper respect in the last 50 years? Can you think of any?
I mean, there's probably a memorial to JFK or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are probably like streets named after him and stuff like that, memorial ways and stuff like that. Yeah. We build statues for athletes. Staples Center has a Shaq statue. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a Kobe statue, a Kareem statue, a Magic statue. We build statues for athletes.
Yep.
For basketball players. They are the ones who we uplift as the greatest Americans. There's something wrong there. Why don't we have great inventors anymore? Why don't we have astronauts? Why don't we have scientists? We're not on the cusp of being the greatest country in the world if all we can do is play basketball and football.
Well, our technology is by far the best in the world. So we are having amazing technology.
Compared to who?
Compared to everybody in the world.
What makes you say, okay.
Silicon Valley is like the hotbed for technology in the world.
For another waste of time of junk like Facebook and Twitter and that kind of crap. I'm not knocking it. I use it too. And we all use it.
We're using it right now.
We don't have a choice but to use it. There are no other outlets. Now YouTube and the internet has done a lot for our society to kind of get our voices out. People like us, we wouldn't have a platform if it wasn't for Silicon Valley. But ultimately, more people are wasting more time on Silicon Valley inventions as opposed to being constructive.
So I think people need a release after a while. Like if you can't just sit, if
release
all you
from
do,
what?
If all
going
you,
to work every day,
well,
and yep, exactly. Going to work every day and having a job that gives you no fulfillment in life.
There's a lot of people in that boat.
A lot of dormant people who don't do anything with themselves, and all they do is just sit and wait to die, and I'll watch some sports in between. That ain't life. That ain't quality of life.
If you're always worried about these issues, like if like for instance, I was on YouTube and Facebook like hardcore, like 4 weeks ago. No, actually, it's even closer than that. I took like a week or two off because I was posting stuff a lot. I was commenting on other people's stuff. I was getting pretty bent out of shape. I was getting upset. I was like, oh my God, look at this. Can you believe this? I was always looking at my wife. Look at this, babe. Can you believe this shit? And she just looked at me like, just stop. And I stopped for a while. I didn't look at it all. I felt so much better. Like, I think having sports, you can't just sit there and always be consumed with these big pressing issues all the time of your life. Having sports allows, one, people to come together that disagree on different areas, and they can be together, have a great time together, enjoy this moment, and just have a release and remember that, hey, the world is good.
Did Kaepernick piss everybody off because he made you have to start thinking about stuff more often? Because I don't remember anybody having to think about these pressing issues. Nobody gave a damn.
Politics are in our lives
not
everywhere.
Really politics. I'm not even talking politics. I'm just talking humanity. When Tamir Rice got murdered, when Michael Brown got killed, when Trayvon Martin got killed, nobody gave a damn.
It was all over the news.
It was on the news, but that don't mean people cared because nothing happened. George Zimmerman walked. Every other cop that killed any of these people, nothing happened to him. And then Colin Kaepernick said, this ain't right. And then people said, that bastard is on that field making me have to think about stuff that I don't want to think about. I'm sorry, but I don't think America is so occupied with having to think about pressing issues that football is their release. No, football is their life. They wake up in the morning and they watch ESPN Sports Center. It's 24 hours. They got all these different sports shows, and then you turn on the radio on your way to work, and they talking about football even more, and everybody has a damn opinion about every fucking team because everybody's a fucking expert on football now. And basketball, everybody knows everything. I don't think we've ever in the last 20 years, I don't think we've thought about anything except games and sports. We have not thought about anything serious for the last 20 years. Because you can elect to ignore those things. That's why it bothers people when you got these protests and these Black Lives Matters things, because you got to drive by and you got to look at it. Before, when it was on your TV screen, you could change the channel. And now people are out in the streets and you got to look at them, and it pisses people off.
I don't think people mind the protests. I think people mind the violent riots and stuff like that.
But why are they violent? It's because we've ignored it for so long and it's escalated. And this is what you're going to get. It's just like any revolt or revolution or something like that. Not that I'm saying that this is that.
There's some similarities with the French Revolution going on.
I don't. Okay, that's possible. That's possible. It doesn't feel like anything's changing yet to me.
Yeah.
I don't see any difference in the world. I mean, you've got people that are angry. You've got people that are protesting, that are rioting. I don't see on the other end where policy has been made to make things better. I don't even see either of these candidates talking about any of this stuff.
Well, Biden won't do a debate, so I mean it's kind of hard.
Yeah, he's old.
If he does a debate, it's over with.
He can do a mask debate. He can do a debate with his black mask on.
He wants to do a Zoom debate, and then he'll just say it's the internet connection when he slips up.
But with that said, these things still aren't issues. They're still like Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. They put a kente cloth on and they went and kneeled, and I don't know how she got back up. Them old knees. I can't get back up, but I mean, it's just like, let's give it some lip service, but let's not change anything.
Yeah.
Let's not make America better. Trump hasn't said anything. All he said was he's sick of those NBA players, those nasty bastards out there kneeling for the, yeah.
Yeah.
He said that to...
Yeah, it was disrespectful to the flag.
No, it's not. Has nothing to do with the flag. But we still...
Has nothing to do with the flag, but I'm going to do it during the national anthem.
Okay, who cares about the flag and the national anthem when... How about we just address...
So if it had nothing to do with the flag, then why do it? Why can't you do it at another time?
It's just one thing that one person chose to do, and then everybody got mad about it, so everybody decided to do it. Because it's like, why are you mad? Because he's protesting his way. And so everybody else followed suit. But if they just would have addressed the issue instead of the distraction of, oh, you're disrespecting the flag. What about the issue? Forget about the issue. Let's talk about the flag. Let's talk about the national anthem.
That's
talk
what
about
it
the
turned
military.
into.
Yeah.
But
how come nobody wanted to address the issue?
If he hadn't disrespected the flag,
how about he just address the issue? Say, I don't like that, but I will address the issue.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the issue. America doesn't care about the issue.
I liked what Malcolm Jenkins was doing. Malcolm Jenkins was doing the Black Power with his hand up, his fist in the air.
They could find that disrespectful. I mean, it
That's not
depends on who you ask.
disrespectful at all.
It depends on who you ask, because when Tommy Jones and what was his name?
Carl Lewis.
No, Carlos. No, in '78 Olympics when they won the gold and the bronze, and they had the fist. Yeah, those people got blackballed.
Well,
you don't hear about Carlos.
They shouldn't have been.
But they were.
Well,
because everybody said they're disrespectful with this Black Power stuff. They're disrespectful.
I don't find anything disrespectful. I mean, you're standing up. You're not kneeling. You're not disrespecting. You're putting your arm up in the air.
You don't find anything disrespectful about it. But somebody, all it takes is the right voice to call it disrespectful, which the Colin Kaepernick thing was not disrespectful. He took a knee. It's not. There's nothing disrespectful about that. It's like I'm still listening to the anthem. I'm not sitting back listening to music and dancing and screaming over it. I'm not disrespecting it. I'm sitting there quietly minding my own business.
Yeah.
Now, if I want to take my hat off or not, am I disrespectful if I don't want to take the hat off? It depends on who you ask. So because somebody decided it was disrespect, a lot of people just followed suit. And because other people saw like, why is it disrespectful? They followed suit. But nobody addresses the issue. Like even Jay-Z, he said, well, it was just to bring light to the issue. Now we brought light, so let's get back to business as usual. What are you talking about, dude?
We gotta get this money, man.
Yeah, what are you talking about? How come nobody would address the issue?
Yeah.
We've got a presidential election, and Joe Biden doesn't have a stance on how he feels about police brutality. He doesn't have a stance.
Oh, he does. He says that they're terrible. He's all about defunding the police and doing all that stuff. So.
That's all talk. That doesn't even mean anything.
Joe Biden is not going to be running anything. He has a bunch of super woke people behind him that are going to be.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have any.
They're going to be changing names in the dictionary if he wins.
That's funny to me that we look at the Democrats as the woke party. They're not woke. Barack Obama is like the biggest, not the biggest, but he's the biggest name of people who hate woke people. Barack Obama can't stand. We got all these. Everybody thinks they're woke now. He cannot stand woke people. He hates that.
I think he was. He had a hand to play to start this.
Is Kamala Harris woke? I say yoke.
She's gonna say she is.
She ain't though.
No, but she's gonna be backing it.
But this ain't the woke party.
But so I remember when Barack Obama was president, he said he gave some speech and he was talking about words matter, and I remember him. This is not very long after he had won. I mean, he still had all the soaring high. Everybody was all about him. He hadn't screwed up yet.
You remember Obama's speeches? Do you remember any of Trump's?
Not.
All right, just
lock her up.
Go
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, but anyways, Obama was talking about how words matter, and I think what that kind of gave a different turn because when I was a kid, we used to say sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
Okay. And somehow it is flipped. And now words are the most important thing. And violence is not that big a deal at all. And if you don't comply with our vocabulary, we're going to use violence against you.
Sticks and stones was a lie, though.
Okay.
That's just something you tell kids so that they feel better. That's a lie. Those words do hurt. Calling a overweight kid fat hurts.
But if he believes in that,
doesn't matter.
He can have a better self-esteem of himself.
No, they feel it. They remember it. Words do hurt people.
I don't know. That's what I was raised on.
Nobody ever said anything that hurt your feelings.
Well, I've always had a really high, a very high opinion of myself. So I didn't give a shit what somebody else said. Okay,
Chris is lying because you told me that when that guy came in to get the detail, he said some things that made you want to like blow up on him. When the guy about the appointment, you canceled it on him and he got mad and he just showed up anyway. But I'm saying the words he said.
Okay.
You know, it
wasn't
turns you
insulting
like, hey,
me.
what'd you say to me? What'd you say?
Oh, okay.
Words do hurt. They can piss you off, and they elicit emotion.
I think you're in control of yourself, and
You
can't
are,
allow somebody else's opinion.
Easier said than done. Yeah. Words hurt, but I get what you're getting at. You're saying that how come I can't say any word because every word seems to hurt somebody. Yeah, maybe it does.
And that's what it's turned into now. It's vocabulary and speech is all that matters, and actions really don't really play a huge role anymore. Like people used to always say, "Don't tell me, show me." Now it doesn't even matter what you do. It just matters what you tell me. It's just we have people like Kamala Harris. They're going to come out there and parading her out there in this Democratic convention as if she's the next coming awesome thing and tell you all this stuff. But, well, don't show me her actual record. Don't show me what she actually did. Everything's flipped. Don't you remember that? Don't tell me what you're going to do. Actually show me.
Mm-hmm.
It's flipped now.
But they can't show you because they don't do anything.
I know.
They're worthless. They don't do anything but talk.
I mean, the way me and you are really close. We're fairly close in age. Greg's older than I am. But, I mean, the way we were raised and the way these kids are being raised now, totally different. The whole mindset, all of it.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think maybe the media has got us into thinking that the kids are like that, but the kids are just as mean now as they ever were. Kids are horrible. They are very mean.
Kids were mean when I was a kid too.
I'm just saying they haven't changed, but they're still mean as hell.
But the difference, I mean, the
They're
difference
still
was we didn't have
monsters.
the internet like this, but
Yeah, and the cyberbullying and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's just being sensitive. I think it hurts people. I think it hurts their feelings. You tell them, well, just get off of it. But everybody's there. Where am I go? Just go sit in a corner and by myself. I don't know. I don't think it's fair that Colin Kaepernick is looked at in that light. Not that I'm saying that Colin Kaepernick is necessarily a hero or anything like that, but I don't think it's really fair that we can just ignore everything. Like the fact that nobody has done anything in regards to like Breonna Taylor getting walked up on and killed butt naked in her own house.
yeah, and that's something that actually a lot of the gun rights activists have actually been going on about for a long time. That exact situation, these no-knock warrants, because
It's good for them to finally show up then.
Yeah, the gun rights activists were talking about these no-knock warrants way prior to this Breonna Taylor thing, because I forgot what state it was, but they came up with this thing is if a family member or friend says that you're a danger and you own guns, they can just bust your door down and take your guns from you. And it happened multiple times where they just do these no-knock warrants. They bust the door down. A guy thinks somebody's breaking in his house.
But these people aren't like actively for Breonna Taylor necessarily, though, right?
Well,
This is just
they were talking
before-
about the issue prior to her even happening.
But after it happened, they had nothing to say.
Oh, yeah. No.
They are now? Okay.
Yeah, the gun rights activists are still, because, I mean, they hate these no-knock warrants.
Because I didn't see the gun activists when Philando Castillo got killed for having a gun.
That was pretty damn sad.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
Yeah. The NRA, I mean, he had a carry permit.
Yeah.
The NRA should have been there. And the optics of it would have been, like, some of these guys just don't understand. The optics of, okay, you're defending a black guy. That would have been great optics for you.
Yeah.
Like,
We already think you're racist, so how about
Yeah.
you prove us differently if you're not? So since they don't prove you differently, I take it as they are.
Yeah.
Ooh, 47 minutes in. All right. You think that's about enough for this installment?
I think it's pretty good. We've meandered around a few things.
Yeah. All
Blown
right.
enough smoke.
Yeah. We've exhausted our points for today. Thank you for listening. Tune in next time, and we'll do it all over again. Maybe for the next month or so or two, we'll talk about the election and whatever goes on. So tune in, and we'll give you our election updates and our feelings on everything. Chris, you have any final words?
Just have a great night.
Good evening.